Hi guys, this is Second Perspective. My name is Paul Weston, and today I'm going to be doing a solo QQ on Star Wars, The Force Awakens, Episode 7, and getting straight to it, it was good, which I'm very excited to be able to say. The synopsis of the film is essentially that Luke Skywalker has gone missing, and that they may have found a hint on a far distant planet, and so she being Leia, sends her most daring pilot to go and find that hint and that secret, and then things happen, which I think you should just watch yourself, because that is half the joy of this film. So, one of my happiest moments about this film is that they were able to find a way to make the villain interesting. I am a believer in the whole idea that your heroes are only as interesting as your villain, and I had just watched these 4 Star Wars films in the last 24 hours, and so what was really interesting about Darth Vader is that he was cold and very subdued in a weird way, but with this villain, they managed to actually show. In all these videos, they kept showing, or all these films, they kept saying about how the dark side, let the hate feed you and that sort of thing. But you never actually saw them get violently angry, and this villain they use this guy as a sort of a avenue to actually explore some of that. So that's quite interesting. Also, they do certain things that I won't spoil that also make his character have a lot more complexity to it. Another thing that this film did that I thought was going to actually be the most difficult part of making this film is that they found a balance between nostalgia and finding new ways to put fresh elements into the film. And it knew when to sort of play up certain reveals and kind of enjoy those moments, but also knew when to just let a certain moment happen and not to overhype it. Because there were definitely a few plot points that could have really hammed it up, but the director showed a certain restraint to it, which I thought was quite cool. Also, this film was surprisingly really funny. One of the things I hadn't remembered until I just watched the films yesterday, that being the original series, is that it's pretty funny and there's a certain charm to it. And the new film found a way to really amp that up, and there were certain moments that actually had me laughing out loud, in a very sort of hearty kind of laugh, and I found it's quite great. Now, in terms of potential turnoffs, I mean, it's still Star Wars, so there's a certain structure that it will follow, but that said, I do think that this is a film that finds a really good balance from sort of the expectations that a series this storied will have, and yet still finding a way to create enough room for new mystery and new suspense. And I think that sort of structural familiarity will only bother those who want a completely new story that would actively distance itself from the series. Ultimately, I'm going to give this film an A. I really enjoyed it. I wasn't a super diehard Star Wars fan before watching this film or anything, so I don't think I'm too particularly attached to the past ones. I just think with all of the things that could have made this film really not that special, they found a way through all the potential pit holes, and I think it found a good way to please those that had certain expectations and sort of attachments to this film, and also finding a way to, and this is what I think is the most interesting, is it's setting itself up to it found a way to make itself a really good launching pad for the trilogy. And I think it pays respects to the beloved series, but also sets it up to be its own thing. And ultimately, I actually think that the next film in the series will actually be the deciding factor of whether this trilogy is going to be, a fun watch, something that will be enjoyable to, it'll be just enjoyable, or it will actually be a truly generational piece of cinema. And I really do hope that with sort of the savviness that they showed in making these choices of when to play things up and when to sort of not, I do hope that they do break away from this sort of structure that they've already created into making something that that stands on its own, and that it can be something truly, as I said, generational. As you can probably tell, I do think you should go and see it. And if I didn't say it before, because I'm a little caught up in my thoughts, I'm going to give it an A. Other than that, there won't be a discussion because that means I would be talking to myself. But if you have any thoughts, questions, and or just want to talk about the film in general, message me. And please don't spoil it for those who haven't seen it yet. But other than that, this is Second Perspective. I'm Paul Weston, and may the Force be with you. Bye, guys.